Remember before Christmas when the Preds were winning as much as they were and Ben Harper was sitting up in the press box? I miss those days. I don't know what to say. Perhaps Coach Hines believes in handing out participation trophies. Why else does he get to play as much as he does? Preds tie the Columbus Blue Jackets 3-3. And then in the gimmick, the shootout, Preds lose 2-1, losing the game 4-3 to the Columbus Blue Jackets in Columbus, Ohio, in Nationwide Arena Thursday night. The Preds do love them streaks because after a 7-game winning streak, the Preds are now on a 2-game losing streak. If you remember, Preds Nation, the last time the Preds played the Blue Jackets was back on November 30th when the Preds trounced the Blue Jackets 6-0, and that was Forsberg's 4-goal game. This is Dave Rittich's first start since December 9th when 11.5 seconds before the final buzzer, the Preds beat the Islanders in Long Island. And it's natural that Rittich would start this game over Saros since Saros played yesterday, and Saros is going to have to get his rest if he's going to be fresh come the playoffs, assuming the Preds make the playoffs. Preds get off on the right foot in this game as just under 3 minutes into the game, Matt Luff sets up Michael McCarron for his first goal as a Nashville Predator. 1-0 Preds over the Blue Jackets. Michael McCarron's first goal since the last time he scored, which was when he was still with Montreal. 5 minutes in, Nick Cousins gets a great chance to extend the Preds lead to 2-0, but Merzlikins stops him. A minute after that, Boone Jenner and Patrick Laine have something going, but Dave Rittich keeps it out. Soon after that 2-on-1 chance, though, it is Boone Jenner who gets the feisty tip-in goal past Dave Rittich, tying this game at 1. Despite not playing in basically 3 weeks, Dave Rittich, who could be rusty, is faring pretty well, and the Preds are controlling the pace of play as they outshoot the Blue Jackets 12-6 in the first, and the game remains tied at 1 after 20 minutes. Well, it would seem as the second period commences that the Preds' mindset was still back in their locker room because the Blue Jackets get the puck into the Preds' zone. Bad defensive coverage. Voracek gets it over to Laine, who just taps it into the net before Rittich has a chance. Blue Jackets have the 2-1 lead. About 3 minutes into the period, Matt Luff, the up-and-comer, is really hungry to try and tie this up. And he carries the puck and he goes at it right into Merzlikins' crease, but he can't get it into the net. 7 minutes into the period, pesky and tough Tanner Jeannot sticks up for his teammate when Andrew Peeke takes a run at Yakov Trenin. I agreed with what Willie and Chris Mason said at this point in the broadcast, that I would be in more favor of the Preds taking penalties like this when it was called upon to stick up for your teammates rather than chintzy stick penalties. On 6.5 minutes left in the middle frame, Preds with a scramble in the Blue Jackets zone, but they can't beat Merzlikins. Just when you thought this game might have hit a lull, Preds defend well against the Blue Jackets at their end and then get the puck into the Blue Jackets zone. Dante Fabro down to Nick Cousins, who finds the perfect spot over Merzlikins' right shoulder, ties this game at 2, and we're all square again. 20 seconds after the Preds tied it, fresh off his fight with Tanner Jeannot, Andrew Peeke must have had something wrong in his head thanks to Tanner Jeannot, because he takes a high sticking penalty on Matt Duchene, and the Preds go to the power play. 15 seconds after the power play begins, it's over because Ryan Johansson tips in a shot past Merzlikins, giving the Preds their first lead back after opening the scoring back in the first. 3-2 Preds. Big finish to the end of the middle frame after the Preds seemed to fall asleep after trailing 2-1 early. They tied it, they got the lead back, and now they lead after 40 minutes and now outshoot the Blue Jackets 25-13. Third period gets underway and the Preds seem to survive the scare that the Blue Jackets gave them in the second period when they scored early, because the first minute and then the second minute expires into the third frame. No damage done just yet. Fabro would then proceed to block a shot, and all of Preds fans got scared as he went to the locker room to get checked out. But it was a short trip. He came back to the bench, and he was okay for the rest of the game. Just over 13 minutes into the final frame, the Preds would award the Blue Jackets with another power play as Mattias Ekholm got called for holding Justin Danforth. In the middle of that penalty kill, not only does Tanner Jeannot break his stick, he quickly takes another teammate's stick, which is curved the wrong way, but successfully kills the penalty, and along the way, before the penalty is just about through, goes back to the bench, gets his right curved stick, comes back into play just in time to bowl over puck carrier Patrik Laine. Over Christmas, there was a trending topic of take a famous movie and only one human character remains and everybody else was Muppets. It was a very popular topic to be discussed. So that came in mind when this had happened in the play. Because if the entire Preds roster was Muppets, Tanner Jeannot would totally be animal. We get to about 7 minutes left in the third period. Blue Jackets desperate to tie it. Rinsky beats Rittich, but he can't beat the goalpost. But the Blue Jackets don't quit. And don't worry, Blue Jackets Nation, who may have stumbled upon this video, because there's one person on the Preds roster who is still in the giving spirit of Christmas 5 days after the holiday is long gone. He wears number 17. No, not this 17, because this jersey says Redemption on it. No, it is one Ben Harpur, who in some feeble attempt to clear his zone doesn't use the boards or the glass to clear it out. No, he goes straight forward and says, oh, look, there's poor Alex Texier. Oh, here, let me give him the puck. And he says, thank you. And quickly, without Rittich being ready, because he didn't think that Harpur would do that, he's not ready. And Texier beats him, tying this game at 3. Just under 4 minutes. This man, who will take a stupid penalty in overtime, has a great chance to make up for Harpur's boneheaded mistake. Preds have pressure into the Blue Jackets zone. Duchesne has the puck all by himself. Maybe if he was a right-handed shot, he would have scored, but still, you're Matt Duchesne. This should have been in. Merzlikins is down. He has him at his mercy. But Duchesne just can't backhand roof job it, and the game remains tied. And both teams would have a chance to try and win it in regulation after the Blue Jackets had tied it, thanks to Ben Harpur. Yes, I will hammer that home. Thanks to Ben Harpur, this game is tied, and we're going to overtime. The Blue Jackets having outshot the Preds 12-7 in that third period. In retrospect, a sign of the tides turning in the Blue Jackets' favor. Blue Jackets control the pace and the play early in overtime, and then the Preds have their first, probably best chance in overtime, as Forsberg has a 2-on-1 with Ekholm, but it's saved by Merzlikins. And Patrik Laine is robbed by Dave Rittich at the other end. And things won't get much better for you than that, Patrik Laine. Then there's Matt Duchesne. On this penalty, he was trying to draw on Columbus. I don't think it was embellishment, but it wasn't enough for the refs to call. But then, soon after that, he takes a penalty that the refs could not look away on. A cross-checking. And Matt Duchesne lets the ref have an earful for what he thinks that they missed, and he is so lucky it wasn't a 4-minute power play with the additional call of unsportsmanlike conduct of arguing with an official. During the last minute of that power play, remember, penalties in overtime are 4-on-3, so it's harder for the defenders with less men on the ice. It's almost essentially a 5-on-3. Matt Benning is playing without a stick at this point, but the Preds successfully get a whistle. Preds kill the penalty. Overtime ends with nobody scoring, and the tide continues to seem to be turning in the Blue Jackets' favor as they outshot the Preds 4-1 in that fourth period. Chinakhov goes first for the Blue Jackets, but he's stopped by Rittich. Then Forsberg has a beautiful move, the move that he wanted, but he probably waited a moment too long to get the puck off, so Merzlikins is able to make the save. Second round, Laine, at the point when he gets close to Rittich, loses control of it, so That's a no goal. And then Duchesne tries to redeem himself for the penalty in overtime, but he can't beat Merzlikins either. Then in the third round, Voracek tries his best impersonation of the slow-mo Ryan Johansson, but he can't get the puck past Rittich. And then maybe, as we all thought it would happen, Ryan Johansson says, hey, I'll show you how it's done. It's like, nope. Merzlikins meets him the whole way and stands up as Johansson can't control the puck anymore, and we're going to extra shooters. Then for the fourth round of shooters, it's first for the Blue Jackets, the man who's the reason why this game is in a shootout, the man who tied the game, Alexander Texier, who goes and he waits for the last possible moment for Rittich's 5-hole to open, and I have to give him credit. This was a pretty sweet move where he seemingly shovels it through his 5-hole with his stick, giving the Blue Jackets the first lead of the shootout. And somebody in the Blue Jackets pyrotechnic crew must have had it wrong in their head, thinking that the Blue Jackets shot second in the shootout and not first, because the officials had to wait and make sure that none of the confetti that ends up being set off by the Columbus home crew would interfere with Granlund, who was shooting next. And if I'm a Blue Jackets fan, one, I'm kind of hoping this doesn't jinx the home team, and as the same as it was for me and many in Preds Nation who were hoping it would. And it seemed to get the Blue Jackets fans nervous, because Mikael Granlund, who was set up next, does tie the shootout at 1. Then we're off in the fifth round, and the goals seemingly keep coming because Nyquist beats Rittich, and then it's all down to Tolvanen. Can he keep the shootout going for the Preds to finally win in a later round? He beats Rittich, but he doesn't beat the post. Blue Jackets win the shootout 2-1, win the game 4-3. So close to getting back on a winning note before the 2021 schedule for the Preds concludes against Sonny Boy, but alas, he pulls one over on Dad. I guess they were due for this one, but that's the first Preds loss after leading after 2 periods this season. At least they got a point out of it. Preds finished 2021 third place in the Central, 4 points up on Colorado, who has 5 games in hand on them. On the bright side, special teams was not the reason why the Preds lost this game, as they went 1 for 3 on the power play and killed off all 4 Blue Jackets power plays. And they didn't allow a shorthanded goal, kind of like last night in Washington. All they need to do moving forward is play a little tighter defensively and not put Ben Harpur on the ice if you're going to play him at inopportune moments in the game. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. You can find my social media as always by clicking on the channel name. Tell all your friends about Redemption. And in closing, Preds Nation, I just wanted to wish you and your families a very happy New Year. We'll see you back here in 2022.